Welcome to Iowa Speedway, where the streak is over. The Honda domination ends at 10 races, and it's a very, very popular winner, as is usual when Pato Award drives into victory lane, as he did here for race 1 in Iowa. Now, this particular race, not as bad as last year for sure. I would say, obviously not like. This was not old Iowa by any stretch of the imagination, but as you'll hear throughout this video, we're starting to get parts of old Iowa back, and I'll kind of discuss that in more detail as this video goes on. But let's take a look at how the first race here in Iowa wrapped up. And it's Pato Award winning over Joseph Newgarden. Pato's first win this season, in his 100th start, and the first time he has repeated at a track. Can he repeat tomorrow from 9th on the starting grid? Joseph Newgarden dominated the race, absolutely dominated it, but did not win. Poor Joseph. Will Power rounds out the podium. You'll hear from Joseph, Pato, and Will later on in this video. In fact, you'll hear from Scott McLaughlin, Alex Palou, and Christian. You'll hear from the entire top 6 and indeed the entire top 7 in this race. But yeah, Will Power did a fantastic job today. Both he and Pato were passing cars, making things exciting. We like all of that. Scott McLaughlin drove from 27th spot on the grid to 4th place. So for those of you who say no one can pass at Iowa, well, Scott McLaughlin passed at Iowa. Alex Palou starts on the pole position tomorrow. He finished 5th today. Can he rebound and get his first non-Indy 500 oval win? We will have to wait and see on that. Christian Rasmussen was banging wheels, running the high groove, all the fun stuff, and got a 6th place finish. That was awesome for Christian Rasmussen and Ed Carpenter Racing. Connor Daly, P7. We'll talk to him later on in this video as well. Connor started in the 2nd position. The Juncos team just couldn't hang on to that great position, but they still have a solid top 10 finish. Santino Ferrucci, Connor's good buddy, just behind him. Marcus Armstrong, solid top 10 on an oval for Marcus. Armstrong, I should say, if I said Erickson, sorry, Marcus. That's the 2nd time that's happened today. Scott Dixon in 10th. Tried some fuel stuff, didn't work. Graham Rahal, a quiet 11th. David Malukas in the 12th position for A.J. Foyt. Colton Herta came from the back of the field to finish 13th. Louis Foster had a solid day in 14th. Marcus Erickson started 15th and finished 15th. Last car on the lead lap. Renus VK was the first car 1 lap behind the race in 16th. Felix Rosenquist had a dismal day, falling from 3rd to 17th. Kiffin Simpson hung in there all day, 1 lap behind the race, as is Devlin DeFrancesco. Robert Schwartzman, Christian Lundgaard, who had a miserable day, unfortunately, starting in 21st and finishing in 21st. Stingray Rob gained 2 positions. Callum Ilott was awesome today, found the high groove, but wrecked the car, unfortunately for him. Nolan Siegel had a tremendous crash in turn number 4, which actually necessitated a red flag for barrier repairs. Alexander Rossi had an engine issue, according to Chevy. They're changing that for tomorrow. That is going to become quite a bit of an issue later on in the season. Kyle Kirkwood had a miserable day, 2 crashes today, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon in the race. And Jacob Abel smacked the wall and finished P last on the day. So Pato Award had a fantastic day today, was able to pass, was strong all day. As I mentioned in the results, he was the first, it's the first track that he's repeated on, which is actually kind of notable. I'm kind of surprised that this is the first one. This was also the track that he scored his first IndyCar win on, if I'm not mistaken. So kind of interesting, a couple of interesting notes, I guess, about Pato. First Chevy win on the year, I mentioned that. And you know, when we kind of talk about Chevy, and we've talked about their struggles this year, the big thing that I've noticed and the big difference between them and Honda has been that Honda has had depth. When one of their strong teams kind of falters, another one steps up and takes that position and takes that win. Now, more often than not, obviously, it's been Alex Palou and Kyle Kirkwood trading wins. But now, you know, you look at you want to talk about depth. We've got Arrow McLaren. We've got the 3 Penske's. Obviously, we've got the top Honda, Alex Palou. But then you've got Ed Carpenter Racing. You've got Juncos, and you've got A.J. Foyt Racing in the top 10. So, you know, that's a lot of depth for Chevy, and that's exactly what they needed to do. And so the minute they get some depth at a track, boom, all of a sudden they're at the front, they're winning races. And I think it's very interesting as well that it's Arrow McLaren that draws first blood for Chevy. I think I've been saying this for a while, and I think it's true that right now And I get it, Penske had a very strong day today, but I think Arrow McLaren right now, you can make the argument that they're the top Chevy team. And they've actually won a race, right? That's something that Penske has not done. So, speaking of Penske, got to ask some questions of Joseph Newgarden and Will Power in the post-race press conference, kind of focused on what happened out on track today and how it'll translate to tomorrow. I think it's pretty insightful.
I'm going to kind of ask it bluntly. Do you think there's a possibility or a scenario where we could see an on-track lead change tomorrow, or is it all going to be on the pit sequence?
No, I think throughout a sequence you will. In 10, 15 laps you won't. Certainly not like at the end of this race, but through sequencing, if there's a car that's faster than the leader, I think he can get by him. Yeah, for sure.
It seemed like in lap traffic, especially today, it seemed like you were kind of picking your spots. I mean, could you make more passes in lap traffic than you were showing, or was that just kind of a decision to hold position and knowing that it was really tough to pass from second?
Yeah, I was just kind of managing risk today. So, day like today, you leave going, I wish I would have done a little more. But we got tomorrow. So, we'll see what we can bring.
And Will, you mentioned the track's kind of 1.5 lanes right now. It seems like as the race improved, that second lane got better and better. Yeah. What can we kind of expect tomorrow from that?
It's actually probably a true 2 lanes now. Like you could put your tires just on that black seam, maybe a little higher, which is 2 lanes. It's yeah, I mean, you need just half a car and you can start working someone, especially if they got someone in front of them. And that's how I got past the guys I had to get past, Yeah, it was good, much better than last year. It really was.
And speaking of drivers, I certainly did my fair share of running back and forth on the pit lane to get quite a few different drivers, including Alex Palou. I just mentioned the top placing Honda in the field, as well as essentially the entire top 7.
Went a lot better than I thought it was going to go, that's for sure. Car was magic. Track raced really, really well. I was able to get up the top there and just keep ripping. Me and Rasmussen really were going together. So yeah, just sort of took my time when I needed to. The car wasn't great in spots, and then I sort of just waited for the deck to come, and our car just looked after its tyres and was able to sort of just keep ripping. So yeah, after the last few months, even up until like lunchtime today, like it's been a pretty tough few months. So it's been a nice to be able.
Talking about the total team effort from Penske.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, I went around, shook everyone's hand, because at the end of the day, people, if they had cameras on it, like 2, 3, 12, everyone worked on that car. And I mean, I was speaking to Rahal, and he didn't think that they wouldn't be able to get it together in that time. So I think a lot of people were surprised how early we are actually to grid, and yeah, we've got to be really proud of that, and that's why I put a lot of trust in my guys.
Can you recreate this tomorrow?
Yep, I just got to go 3 spots better.
There we go.
Yeah, exciting race. Really tough to start, but then after that first stint, it seemed like the top lane started to move better, started to get better and better. And once I could kind of start using that, it all got a little bit easier. Yeah, we just progressively through the race kind of just moved our way up a little bit, stint by stint, and obviously had a good day. P6 at the end coming from P19 is pretty good.
You mentioned the top lane. Do you think we're going to be able to use that a lot more tomorrow? It looked like it was coming in toward the end of the race.
Yeah, I think so, especially with how much it rubbered in today. I think we'll start where we kind of finished today, and where we finished today was a working top lane. So that's going to be good for race 2 tomorrow. I think that'll make it way more exciting. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see.
Alex, what was the biggest challenge for you today?
I don't know, just like not being able to fight, not being able to race in the middle of the stints. I think that was a bit frustrating for everybody. We knew what we were heading into the race, but yeah, I don't know. It was an okay race. It was a balanced race for me. Like, it's not that we struggle in balance or anything like that. I think there was a couple of cars that were really good compared to us towards the end of the stints. We struggled there. We lost a couple of positions, but part of that was a solid day.
What can you do to control this race from the pole tomorrow?
Go fast. Try and keep P1. How I'm gonna do that, I don't know yet, but I'll study a little bit tonight, see if I can do something, try and improve the car a little bit, try and improve my driving lanes when I'm like trying to go up a little bit, and hopefully I can make it happen.
We were really good. I think obviously the first stop we lost 6 spots or something like that, so that's or 5 or 6 spots. That's obviously tough. But I mean, the car was great. It was the most consistent balance we've had the whole time. If I'm honest, the steering was so heavy for me, and I struggled with that. So I think we were a little limited by that. Because on the short stint right at the end, I mean, we were flying again, and short stints were really good. But I think we might have been a bit too aggressive with how much caster we could run on this track with this much speed and this much grip.
It looked like the top group was starting to come in at the end of the race. I mean, what does that say about what this might race like tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I ran the top lane the entire last 15 laps, and it was awesome. So again, if people are forced to go up there, and people were, Will was going up there, Rasmussen was going up there, and there were a lot of cars that couldn't. So if you could, that was really beneficial. Honestly, there was more usage of that for, I'd say, more laps than I would have expected. Obviously, once it got, marbly, that was tough, but those restarts were a lot of fun, especially at the end.
So, a whole nother race to go here at Iowa. And I think, I'm going to say it, folks. I think we're actually going to have a pretty decent race tomorrow. Will Power, as you heard, he started the press conference by saying 1.5 grooves and said by the end of the race it was 2 grooves. We're not expecting any rain or anything to wash the track away or kind of hurt that groove. So from my perspective, I think the drivers who are going to be willing to go up there, and I certainly think there are going to be more drivers willing to go up there tomorrow than there will be today, because there's a lot of crews back there that are working on wrecked race cars, and that's the last thing you want to do, especially when you're car number 27 with Kyle Kirkwood and Andretti Global. That was tough. That's tough that they've had to repair that car twice in one day. But a lot of long nights for a lot of crews. You don't have to worry about that so much tomorrow. Tomorrow you can be more aggressive. You can go up top. You can try to make this into Old Iowa. And here's the thing. I think if we had a year, or maybe 2, but I think really just a year more, this track would be right back to Old Iowa, what we love. It's not that far off, to be honest. I'm just not sure it's going to get another year. So if you like Iowa and you enjoy this race and you enjoy this racing, I would first of all suggest, if you're anywhere close, buy a grandstand ticket. But if you care about this race, at least watch it tomorrow. Or if you care about this track, if you like this quirky little oval, give it a tune in on Fox tomorrow. That's my free publicity. I always give one out. That's my free publicity of today's video, because I think it's not going to be totally Old Iowa. I still think the lap traffic's going to be a little bit of an issue, but I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be as close as we could have hoped for. So I think tomorrow's race is probably going to be entertaining, and I kind of feel Texas-y right now. I'm standing here on a pit lane, and I kind of feel like the way I did it last time at Texas, where I feel like it's going to be a good race, it's going to be fun, and then we're not going to come back. So if we don't come back, I hope it's a racetrack that fills this style of racing on the calendar, or at least, as Will Power said in the post-race press conference, at least kind of has some strong fan backing. But I think we're going to have a good race tomorrow. I'm going to say that. Do I think Alex Palou will be able to hang on from the first position? I don't know. I would have liked to have seen more green flag pit stops today. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that, and that means we really didn't get to see strategy, and I think that hampered Honda quite a bit. I think if this race goes green tomorrow, which I don't think it will, that would favor them. But I think if there's a lot of cautions, a lot of restarts, I think you're going to see the same cast of characters up front, but hopefully a little bit more too wide than they were today. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube. Subscribe for more IndyCar content. Thanks to all the folks who showed up at Gutswear and the trailer today to buy a shirt from me. That was absolutely awesome. I think we're going to do that as well at Milwaukee. Stay tuned for details on that. We'll see you in the next video.